Oh, hello, my dear ones. How are you all today? This is 7/7/17. 3 sevens cycles in a 1. Interesting. You guys who left me all these delicious mango man. This thing's ready to go. And Valencia Prize, I'm going to say 2 weeks. I'm going to show you some very large mangoes. Yeah, this is out there now. Chemotherapy may spread cancer and trigger more aggressive tumors, warn scientists. So I don't know. I don't know about this study. I'm sure there's a study going on. Some of the study is a little here's a good example. Part of this study, it said, he also discovered that in mice, breast cancer chemotherapy increased the number of cancer cells circulating the body and in the lungs. You can't detect them through the blood because cells can't get into the blood. So this is a little, I don't know, but this is so true. Chemotherapy may spread cancer. That's such a, you guys are one of the few that understand the truth of that. When you treat it like a disease, like it's from some kind of Moose Jaw, Alaska place, and you think it spreads and is a creeping crud-like thing, then you're lost forever. You're full of fear and everything else. When you understand that you have a sewer system, these are all lymphomas. All cancers are called lymphomas. It's amazing. I think they even have lumped leukemia, what they call leukemia, into lymphomas. But it's only because it's of the lymphatic system. And, of course, very few people, except the ones I'm looking at and talking to right now, understand that system to the degree you do. I was talking yesterday on a video about the American Heart Association terrorist organization thing. That's it. I have to say, I kind of thought that was kind of a little harsh, but as I read through here, I kind of agree. I mean, and not terrorists, but just liars and deceivers. And this is all karmic blowback. You lie to someone and they get hurt over your lie. Guess who gets to pay the karma? That's what they don't get. And that keeps the low-level consciousness keep returning here. Ugh. But as I was watching TV last night, I really like the news a lot because I like to see what's going on. And the latest medical study, and this was a serious study, this is taking heartburn, of course, with antacids, right? So you got Prilosec, you got all kinds of antacids. Get this, and believe it or not, when you look at worst pills, best pills, I believe a lot of the antacids are into fatal event categories. But what this study and the natural medicine has found is taking heartburn meds or antacids too long, meaning over 90 days, will severely shorten your life and can lead to death. That's the latest news out there. Amazing. You just have to realize pharmaceuticals are not candy, and so many people treat them like candy. This is Australia. This is pretty neat. This is from Jerome. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Graeme. Duck. Anyway, as a level 1 student, right? And level 1 students are those generally that understand health, are excited about it, are working on themselves. We have a few come to our classes that don't know anything, but that's rare. Most of you have already learned and grown and played with yourself. Get this. Today I had a client that has had a brain tumor. That had surgery, was told that incurable, 2 months to live, refused chemo and radiation. Okay? Now is 8 months on, had an MRI and the doctor's words, quote, "This is unheard of. What are you doing? Question mark. There are signs of very good regeneration at surgical site. Woohoo!" And a few other words, ha ha. I tell you what, you guys, and that's what I'm saying, you guys are the world's new healers. And the trouble with this is you guys come packed with awareness and knowledge and experience. I mean, it's going to be difficult. I was just talking to a gentleman from Russia. And he said, and his wife was very excited. They live in the States now, and their wife, he was in the military. Wife very excited, been watching the YouTubes and stuff, working on her health. And he says, well, I'm a little a disbeliever. And I said, you know, that's good. He goes, what? I said, listen, your belief systems block you from the truth. And you probably have some medical belief systems that is blocking you from the truth. However, generally, if you clean the slate, and you start to look at truth, start with the sciences. And I start in our classes with how the God worlds are made. If you don't understand creation and how it's made a little bit, then you're kind of left like you don't get it because you're only looking through the eyes of the physical body. And that's the most finite tool or instrument of expression you have. The physical body is the most limited, finite body or expression you are working with. Your emotions are a lot more fluid and flexible. Look at the astral world. You can move almost by thought. In mental worlds, you definitely move by thought. So, and this is why there's a certain maturity development in these lower areas of mind and emotions. Because those cannot tap those higher worlds without some maturity on those levels. I'll be honest with you. It's just the way it is. So this is why you go through a lot of, it takes itself, more aptly put, through training. It develops itself. It refines itself, like any great creator would. Cool stuff. Congratulations. Good work, good work. Keep going. You know, get them on 100% fruit. I mean, what you're doing is working upper circuit, brain and nerve. Get on the bones and connective tissue would be very helpful. Get after that lymph system, and remember that head sits right on top of the GI tract. Go aggressively after that GI tract. And then you have the healthy crazies wanting to shut people doing for false hope. You know what? And my blood boils. You know what? This is what's going on in our government right now. People are not accepting the current president, and it's the same type of crazy crap that it's horrible. It's horrible. It is lies. It's just extreme unconsciousness, and it's just exposing itself all over the place. And when you start to look at this, the press over in this country has been lying and moving the press around to suit its agendas for a very long time. You know, that's a sad thing, too. When you're raised in a society where the propaganda, everywhere you turn, meat is good for you, milk is great for you, all the crap like that. So these people are responsible for the ill health of how many? Guess what kind of karma that is. You know, this is, you know, it gives itself karma, and it's like, holy crap. I wouldn't touch that. These people will be spinning for a long, long time. But my dear one, this is exactly what gets me too, you know. And then there's those people that say, oh, you're going to hurt them, you're going to hurt them. And you're regenerating tissue within them. And that's what I'm saying before. We will demonstrate our level of awareness through demonstration, through actual people. You know, we don't need double-blind studies. Someone asked me years and years ago when I was doing a radio show. I did several radio shows years ago. I did one down here for 2 or 3 years, and then I did one in Sarasota with a Native American for about a year. And you always have those kind of people, you know, and I love those because we work on humans. We don't need double-blind studies. We show you right there it works. Because we don't have to worry whether it hurts you or not hurts you because we know it doesn't hurt you. It's nature. It's designed. You're eating and consuming that which is designed for your human body. Can't ever hurt you. Now, detox can get rough from eating lifetimes of food that is not in harmony with the human body. Absolutely. But my love to you and to the client here, and keep going. Win this one. This shouldn't be too difficult to win because they've already cut most of the tumor out. Now all you got to do is get all these pathways opened up, neurolymphatic points down the back. You know, work with that, hot and cold applications, and get on down the road there. Get that patient sweating, and success story, another success story right there. Here's another one. It's right in with Cillian Bears all, but sunscreen complaints mount. And this is the Banana Republic sunscreens. Bad stuff. You know, there's natural sunscreens out there, but I'll tell you this. I want you to think about this. Would you rather go out in the sun being acidic or being alkaline? There's a huge difference in how your skin responds to the sun, which is full spectrum lighting, when you're acidic as opposed to when you're base dominant. So when you're acidic, you're already burning. You're already hot, so to speak. The sun, of course, is a little more of an acidic principle. So acid on top of acid burns and makes you, but not when you're alkaline and base. That's why in the tropics is an acidic arid zone. However, a tropical zone, but it's acidic. This is why everything around the tropics is base. Water's base, salt water. You've got your fruits, alkaline. Of course, your sun and your hot environment is acidic. But you have the alkalinity to buffer that. That was one of the theses for my naturopathic degree. I had 4 theses to write for my naturopathic degree. But 3 was designated to me. 1 I had to pick. And I picked the geographical locations of minerals and proteins dealing in predominantly mineralized soil, depending on environments and locations. You know, as the further north you go, in other words, from the tropics, the more mineralized the ground is and the more protein the foods are, the more complex amino acid structures they are. This is why as you go all the way up to Alaska, you know, you're eating dead animals mostly. And that an extreme acidosis. Some of those Alaskans look like they're 80 and they're only 50-something. And this is classic with Alaskans anyway. They only used to live 46 years. So this is part of the problem. When you eat acid ash forming foods or acid forming foods, same thing, then you're going to get the blowback on that. See?
Well, yes.
See? Let's see, I'm going to talk to you about this. I was talking a little bit about it on the last video, but this is a time for you guys. Open the doors of consciousness and bring new levels to this wayward planet. You know, we're so trapped in academics here on this planet that it is sinking us. We're studying other people's thoughts and ideas and theories. And you can see what happens with allopathic thinking. So, keep your consciousness open. Learn how to become more the observer as opposed to the thinker. And you will start discovering new things on your own. It will bring new levels of awareness to yourself. Because studying other people's works, all right, everything's the same, I get it, and half of these people haven't a clue. Their ideas, theories, postulates, you know, who knows? But it's like me bringing out the kidney filtration in the kidneys. You guys keep helping us discover new levels of things, whether it's the health of the body or whatever, new levels. And will expand the human experience. It needs to expand. Look at it. And look at all the young ones that watch us even. A lot of you 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. And you're the future of the planet. And thanks to your mom and dad, you're frugivores and herbivores. You're eating raw foods and getting healthy and getting your brain way out there. So that is good. Now, yeah, put this in here. Yeah. All right. This is Callaway. Hello, I am a 38 former filmmaker with severe secondary progressive MS. I have many spinal cord lesions and spent most of my days in bed. I am in partial paralysis and use a walker. Despite infusions and chemotherapy agents, holy crap, I have continued to rapidly decline. I am in dire need of help. Well, Mr. Conaway, I have to say that the chemotherapy probably created a lot more lesions. You cannot add acids to your body without you taking you down, honey. All right, I take this as a female, MAIA, but you're just going to keep going down, because you have to enter a whole new world and level of awareness where you understand regeneration. But to understand regeneration, you certainly have to understand what's degenerating you, right? If you want to understand how you regenerate the human, holy moly, that's a big UPS truck. Holy moly. Anyway, you have to understand the degeneration process. So let's take a minute. If you just stopped and said, okay, let's clear the slate, one of those little scratchy boards, all right? How many sides to chemistry? 2. Which side of chemistry is the corrosive, I'm going to hurt you and create lesions and break you down and mutate your cell side? Base? Alkaline?
No, no, no!
How about the acid side?
Yes.
The acid side of chemistry. Now, how is acids building up in your body anyway? How can that possibly happen? Your blood's flowing, and according to the allopathic theory, your body dumps pounds of acid waste from the cells head to toe back into the blood system without killing you. Interesting. That's a no-brainer. That's an impossibility. So let's take another look. You have another system that they don't know about, right? That you guys know about, right? That's the great lymphatic system, the sewer system of the body. That's your problem, honey, and it always is the problem. When you address that problem, then you're successful. So that's what causes lesions, is the acid side of chemistry. Your own metabolitic wastes are chewing on you. Your own waste from your own cells are chewing on you because you're not filtering. Of course, when you're talking about MS or any neurological condition outside of a parasitic issue, oh yeah. I had a case in Portugal, Lisbon, and I was in Lisbon at the time. And the medical establishment sent this guy over to me and said that this gentleman, we can't figure it out. He's got all MS symptoms, but he doesn't have any MS issues in the body. We don't see brain lesions. We don't see, all the factors they look at. But this guy's deteriorating rapidly. And I said, all right. So he came in with his wife, and his wife was kind of helping him in, and I'm talking to him, and I said, what kind of business are you in, man? He said, I'm a butcher. I said, oh, a butcher, huh? I'm starting to get the picture. And I said, you use gloves? He goes, why? Right then I kind of knew, right? But then I said, you know what? I said, if this is I think I know your problem. I said, but this could be a real chronic neurological weakness. I said, if it is and you're deteriorating, I need you to live on fruits only. And I'm explaining why. And he says, can't do. And I'm going, what? You almost can't walk. He goes, I don't like fruit. He said, I'm a butcher because I love meat. I looked at him and I said, I can't help you. His wife's just, full of despair. So, him and his wife leave. I said, so, the next day or two, we get a call from the wife. My husband's in bed and he can't even get out of bed anymore. He'll do anything you say. I said, I figured so. When you're down and you can't move, either you're going to get with it or you're going to go out. And what a bad way to go out. So she came over and got the herbs and everything. By the time I landed in Orlando and hit the States and got to the clinic, I got a call from her. She said, my husband is throwing up all over the place. I said, what's he throwing up? She said, handfuls of worms. 2.5 months, I believe it was, I had it driving around Lisbon, for those that know how the streets are in Lisbon. So that's the point. Outside of parasitic issues, acidosis is the factor. You only have 2 sides of chemistry. You don't have to have, I don't believe you only have 2 sides of chemistry. Go look it up. All right? You only have 2 fluid-based systems that initiate or deal with chemistry. The rest are just cells. So, which two fluids deal with chemistry? There's only two basically outside of water. You have blood and lymph. Well, blood can't be acidic without your death. So, which system is it that carries the acids out of the body? The lymphatic system. That's why it's a cholesterol lipid-based system. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. And uses the kidneys and the skin as its elimination organs. Your skin being the largest eliminative organ of the human body, and your two kidneys vital. Right kidney drains right side of the body, left kidney drains the left side. So that's why a lot of you see symptoms on one side of the body over another, because when one kidney generally goes down more than another, well, what sits on top of them? The adrenal glands, right? And what does the medulla, that's the inner core of the adrenal glands, produce? Neurotransmitters. Well, what could those neurotransmitters be for? The autonomic. Because MS can have a lot of brain lesions. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to an MS client. Marcy had OD'd on the Concord grapes, the seedless Concord grapes. Remember I told you she went out and got 17 bags of them? Well, she OD'd on them. It took her into a big healing crisis. So she couldn't come in that day, so I saw her client, one of her clients, and it was an MS. No brain lesions, nothing from here up, no gray hair, nothing from here up. Only from the bottom down. I'm going, whoa, you were diagnosed with MS? So it's interesting. But most MSs and Lou Gehrig's and Parkinson's, of course, all have brain lesions. That's central nervous system, although there's an autonomic up there too. Most of it comes from the cerebellum, the adrenal glands, and you can't have GI tract issues. This is the brain. The stomach is the brain of the autonomic. So all these things can lead, but when the adrenal medulla goes down, your blood pressure starts to go low on the top, because your top systolic blood pressure is based on neurotransmitters. And when they go down, that's when your blood pressure goes down. They can be squeezed and you can see your blood pressure go up. The adrenals can be full of pressure, and that can happen too. But the lack of neurotransmitters wears the myelin sheaths down, and pretty soon you start to see the nerve rings in the eye, and then you start to see everything autonomic go down. Breathing is more labored, hard to get exhale. You start to see the asthmatic side and the COPD chains. You can just start escalating that all through the body, because now that's going to start shutting down the lymph system. So when the adrenals, and we talked about this on the other video, when the kidneys and adrenals go down, these are some of the things that go down in your body. Mineral utilization, sugar metabolism, anti-inflammatory, female and male issues, neurotransmitters, mean the autonomic can go down. When the kidneys, the lymphatic system can go down. As it goes down, it takes everything down with it, both neurologically and lymphatically or acidically. All those things are going down. That's why you have to work on the kidneys and adrenal glands, or you might as well throw it up and go home. You got to. And I'm saying this to you, my dear one, you have to work on your kidney and adrenal glands, bar none. Upper circuit brain and nerve, mandatory in all MS, Lou Gehrig's, and Parkinson cases, and I would probably double dose for a while. At the same time, you got to drain this head area and get these bowels moving. So I'd handle the ears, go after the GI tract aggressively, GI broom, stomach and bowel formula. You want to definitely go into the adrenals and kidneys and really get you going, because that's how you're successful. In all MS cases, on all neurological cases, let me say this: fruits, berries, and melons only, unless you want to enjoy where you are. And I don't get how people enjoy where they are in a chair. I don't get that. You put me in a chair, I want the hell out of that. And some of you guys that are in chairs, you just aren't strong enough, I don't know, in self-discipline to get out. Get your self-discipline back, all right? Get the love for yourself back. This is your experience sitting in a chair with all the possible acubitus and all the stuff like that. No, not a life. Not a life. Not worth it. Okay? You can turn this totally around on yourself, my dear, totally around. Done so many cases like this, I can't even tell you. In the past, when I had tried some of Dr. Morse's herbs, such as the lymphatic formula, I had gone into extreme immune responses, being overstimulated, and my symptoms got worse. I had to stop. You've got to have somebody put you on a program. You can't just grab herbs to go after things you think you need to do. This is a case, when you're in this chronic levels of neural weakness and everything, you need to have one of us here put you on a path of what you need to have. I'm here to tell you. Then, if that's the case, you want to only use one lymphatic formula, but you have to use the kidneys, you have to use the adrenals with it, or you're pulling the lymph system into kidneys that are stagnant, and that'll only give you a bump back. And that's not good. This is why we teach the kidneys filtration and the importance of that. Also, a day fast here or there, or 24-hour fast would be good. But, honey, you need to have somebody put your foot on this so you can get down this road and get a good feel for what we're doing at you. You need to see your eyes and everything else. So, we're not expensive. To talk to a counselor is not expensive. One or two sessions, you get a good idea, you get your feet on the path, and you're good. How is that expensive? All these nature paths around the world, they charge out the butt. We don't. And we're the premier group, and we don't, because we're God people. I would like to revisit his protocol, but fear that I am too far advanced. No, you're not. And don't you ever think that. I've had MS and Lou Gehrig's, my dear one, to the point where no talking, no singing, no movement, extreme paralysis. Pulled them back. So there's never too advanced unless you're croaking. So don't ever think that. And ever put yourself in that position, because what you'll do, you'll lock yourself back in your chair. I'm too advanced, I can't do it. That kind of attitude doesn't run with me, obviously. That attitude, throw it here in the wastebasket. All right? You're going to get this, you're going to get out of that chair, you're going to get your power back, you're going to get your nervous system back, and you're done. Right? Right. All right? And that's what you take. You don't take. If you do, then you're not strong enough, and you get strong enough. You don't need nervous system strength. You need consciousness strength. I have 13 lesions in my spinal cord and 8 in my brain, including brainstem and frontal lobe. You really got to get this brain draining. Candle the ears, get your GI tract a-honking, get these sinuses rolling. If you go in a cold and flu-like symptom, instead of complaining, go, yeah! Because you're going to see a lot of crap coming out of that sinuses, and you need that. You've got to get all this lymph moving in the brain, or you're in trouble. The other thing is, make sure your spine is straight. Go to a chiropractor. If you have to keep it and straight, if you have some scoliosis, you work your best as we work through this, because some of the spinal fluid is part of the drainage of the brain. Very important to work with that. I am suffering so much that I have been in contact with right to die act. I don't want to hear that crap. If there is any chance I could heal to get better, I would welcome it. Thank you for all that you do, with gratitude. I'm going to try to contact you, honey. You have no contact information. I'll contact you as soon as we'll get this up as soon as possible. These are old. I've been sitting here, quite a while, but I'll try to contact you in some way and let you know. But don't walk with that attitude. You get a hold of one of us and get your feet on the proper path. Don't try to go alone in the dark. When you're advanced like this, you want one of us to help you. People with experience. All right, this is Guy and D. Guy and D? Interesting. Testimonial and questions for YouTube. All right. Let's see what this is. I can't thank you and your team enough for the dedication you have to healing. It is changing my life. Thank you. It's a bit to change your diet from an omnivorous type of acid ash type of diet into a high energetic alkaline based diet. But boy, it does make all the difference, in the world. No question. I was watching your video from today, 29 March 2017. Oh, wow. And you read someone's testimony, which made me remember that I wanted to write to you about my experience. So here it goes. All right, let's see what's got. I love seeing you guys and how you did, because we want to become extremely powerful association and organization for a big reason. We're bucking with the negative forces. It's a battle that I fought for, I can't even tell you, eons of time. And it's creation. And so we want to be strong and powerful. the more we are strong and powerful, the more we demonstrate how well we work, and the fact that we use science back, and we want to put this in a science-based modality, which we are, then there's nowhere for any of them to go. They'll hit you and try to tear you down, but talk to the hand, the face isn't listening, because we know what we do works. Because we're working it on ourselves and we're working it with others. We're seeing the proof. Everyone else just uses theory and hypothesize, oh, that don't work. Well, how do you know? You don't know. You see, and this is just where man is right now. He's at the complaining side. He's at the negative side of life. Complaining and talking bad about others. And I mean, it's a nightmare. So you young children out there, never talk bad about others. If you have a friend you don't like, or a friend that's real mean or something, just turn away and go another direction. Don't waste your time gossiping about others. Gossip is a horrible thing. If you don't have anything better to do than gossip in your life, then I guess you haven't grabbed the bull by the horn. What are you doing in creation for? You know? All right. For many, many years, more than I can remember, specifically perhaps 5 to 7 or more, wow, I had a bad case of warts on the bottom of my feet. Ooh, that had to be bad. Ooh. My right foot was far worse than my left. In fact, the whole heel had the whole front of my foot, including the toes, was completely covered in them on my right foot and much less on my left. You know what? You know what type of case I've never worked on that I'm drooling to work on? And it's not warts all over their body. It's tumors. I need some cases like that. I would love some cases like that. I just suffered with them and got used to them over time, but was always bothered by them because I couldn't enjoy having my bare feet in public. I know, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Did you have any pain with it after a while? Remember, these are microbes, basically. Well, about a month ago, I realized that the warts were completely gone from the bottom of my feet. Completely. See what I'm saying? When you go after that sewer system, you're cleaning all the microbes, you're cleaning the food sources, you're getting rid of it. People have to realize, when you start seeing things growing on the skin, what is it telling you about the health of your body? It's like you're dying and now you're attracting the microbes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're creating putrefaction and the call of the wild, you know what I mean? But when you're a frugivore, or a frugivore that has some vegetables like salads once in a while and stuff, you smell sweet. You pee sweet, you poop sweet, and you smell sweet. Funny, isn't it? I have other stories, but probably not good for video since we have some young children watching. But let's just say your body starts smelling like the food you eat. Let me see here. I didn't even realize it. I just remember deciding to feel the bottom of my foot to see if there were any changes, and boom, they were all gone. Check the left foot, gone. That's pretty cool. I had no idea when it happened or how fast. I could have happened overnight, like the fellow with the bones in his leg that straightened and his spine. You know, that freaked me out. That literally freaked me out. It freaked Dr. White, who was at the time, he was a head of the radiology department at St. Joe's Hospital. I showed him the x-rays and he said, "Holy crap." And I said, "Fox News just wants an interview with a medical doctor about this." He said, "You know I can't." I'm going, "You know I can't?" See what I'm talking about? The suppression of medical doctors there's many a great medical doctor who would love to get out there and say, but can't. Controlled by the AMA. Ditch the AMA. They're a criminal organization anyway. If the warts had fallen off, I think I would have felt something in my socks or in the bed. So I can only imagine that they dissolved or something. I didn't know, but I am so grateful. Oh, you're welcome. And keep digging, because that says that your lymph system is probably pretty much backed up, you know. And you also want to check your adrenals and sugar metabolism and all that, you know. Because you have to fix the adrenals to fix the lymphatic system, so it all fixes good, because then you fix yourself and everything is good. What I also want to add is that I wasn't even strict with the diet, and it still worked. Don't tell everybody. Now, that's not true for MS or things like that. But on general things, you could, that's what diet, but use the herbs and it'll work. But that's not what you want to even bring in there. Because some people, it doesn't. People need to go full force, 100% raw and everything else. What I also want to add is that, okay, strictly, I admit that I had been following you for a while, over a year, and doing my best to eat fully raw, but I tend to fall off the wagon as if it were, and get into trouble with pastry, cheese, and breads. So what did you just tell us? You cheated on pastry, cheeses, and breads, with pastries, breads, and you know it's fungus. Immediately you know your body's full of fungus. And I would take the Parasite M and G until I don't crave those anymore. I used to crave them too until I really did a massive fungal kill. I don't even like bread. So it's like, these are the fungal foods. These are the fermented foods of nature that we fermented to produce. And of course that draws mold, the fungal family, warts, molds, all of that, pretty quickly. You know, you leave a piece of bread on the counter and it don't take long to get mold on it. Fruits have to ferment and start to die before they do. You know, things have to ferment. Fermentation is a part of the death cycle, not part of the healthy cycle. So all these people that want to eat fermented foods have gone, why don't you eat dynamic living foods and forget about fermentation? It'll get fermented somewhere in your body probably. But that tells me right away you're a heavily fungal nut, bro. So take that, go after the lymph system and the adrenals and that sort of thing, and you'll be good. Make sure your kidneys are filtering too. I am good with not eating meat, but I will eat nuts from time to time. There's nothing wrong with doing things from time to time. None of you ought to feel guilty about that. What you do once in a while, you know, I've been on and off of this for years. Just because with the wrong people, and I didn't think this world was ready for it, even though I was supposed to have been told all of this stuff. But I thought, well, yeah, right, I'm dreaming, and I must be hallucinating, and this world is not ready for this level yet. And yet, it took me at this age to get here to see the world ready. Interesting. Maybe it's because the world doesn't believe in young people as much, and that's too bad, because Attila was worried greatly about that being young. Even though full knowledge up, people wouldn't take him seriously. And that is part of a problem, you know. And that's why you get your facts straight. You don't want to, as a young person, you don't want to get too wacky on either side, because then no one takes you seriously. So you want to base your conversations on facts. And it isn't difficult to fact health, because you got two sides of chemistry. You got the blood and the lymphatic. What you guys have, hands down, on this, over this world, is the understanding of the great lymphatic system. No one on this planet has it like you guys. And that's your answers. Once you understand the lymph system and acidosis, bam, bam, everything just falls into place. Bam, 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 like a slot. Everything just falls. Oh, I get everything. Now I can see where the world of diseases, why they call it autoimmune. I can see why all these things are going on, why they don't understand inflammation, why they don't understand any of that. And it's simple. Things do not have to be complex to be truth. Matter of fact, the more complex something is, the less truth it has in it. The more of creation it is, right? Okay, regardless, I worked out. My feet look like I never had warts, ever. They are smooth and free of anything. Well, keep cleaning out internally. Make sure your kidneys are filtering. Don't stop until your lymph system is clean and green. I'm kicking myself now for not taking a before and after picture. That would have been cool. Before and after picture would have been cool, you know? We love before and after pictures. And keep yourself diaries and things. You know, because I do impress upon you guys to write books. They don't have to be big, thick books. Write a little bitty book. How I got rid of warts on my body. You know how many people have warts and would love to read that book? And just a little bitty thing. Now I realize that warts on the feet is pretty minor to what you usually deal with. Oh, yeah. But I thought it could I think it's great, though. No, there's a ton of... No. I still respect the littlest of problems. But the world needs to hear more about how you guys are getting rid of things that a lot of them are. See, the world, you look at yourself, look out in the world, because there's always bunches of people just like you suffering with the same thing. Probably thousands or millions. And so what you have to say is important. And getting rid of warts all over the body, very important. Very important. But I would really love to do a leprosy case. I hate that very word, but I would love to do a leprosy case, one with tumors all. I've only seen one locally. The gentleman had tumors. There wasn't any place in his body he didn't have tumors. And I handed him my card, but I really wasn't sure he would want to come, and he didn't. But I really am dying to work on those, because I think that'll clear that whole thing away. Plus, I was not hardcore fruit-only eater, but that's okay. You know, listen, guys, you don't have to be hardcore fruit-only eaters. If you did fruits, if you did, let's say, 2/3 fruit and 1/3 veggie fruits like cucumbers and avocados and a lot less lettuce and stuff like that, you can cure anything from that, basically. But when you get into your deeper, more chronic levels, when you're getting into neurological stuff, you got to be fruits, berries, and melons only. And that's it. Right now we're talking energetics. Now we're talking neurological. Now we're talking electrical. No more just chemical. And that is a big deal. Big difference. I have a few other known health issues like nodules on my thyroid. Okay, same systems down. All right, this is the lymph system. That's why keep working. Keep moving that lymph. It'll take those nodules out of there. Thyroid, and I am now up to 5 hernias. All right, so you have to get the acids out of the body, right? Because what do? They initiate the calcium buffering system, right? And that's not good. On top of that, however, you have that many hernias, I have to say that my concern would be connective tissue. So if I'm thinking connective tissue, I'm thinking what? Parathyroid, thyroid, and possibly, pituitary. You want to get your eyes and take a look at that, because you want to go after your parathyroids and maybe even your thyroids. Make sure your basal temperatures are close to 98 so you can have a good sweat. But you really want to take care of that sort of thing, you know. Strengthen connective tissue, because when you think of hernias and prolapses and things like that and connective tissue weakness, think of bowels, uteruses, and bladders. I've had women's so much loss of connective tissue that the uterus fell down on the bladder and the bladder coming out the female. None of this is good. So clean and strengthen, clean and strengthen, clean and strengthen. And remember the parathyroid, thyroid, possibility pituitary channel for skeletal and connective tissue rebuilding. And then get on the bones connective tissue formula or something like that. I would also probably use one of the superfoods. Extremely, when our superfoods came back from the lab, I had no idea. I'm about foods. I don't care about the chemistry. I already know that's present, and I know the energetics are present. But I want the best. And our formulas came back with calcium that blew me out the roof. I'm going, what? I couldn't believe it. So use the superfood formulas when you're trying to build. And you can build some incredible stuff. I have a few other known here. Okay, the thyroid, the hernias. I am now, okay, so I still have a way to go. I could not just stay on that darn wagon. Who knows what will happen next? I still don't think my kidneys are filtering. No, get your kidneys filtering, bro. Nodules are the next step to tumors and the next step of medical action. Oh, yeah, I need to take your thyroid out. And you guys have had your thyroids out. You can pretty much tell others what that's like. Not good. But get your kidneys filtering. Anyway, much love to you and your team. And I also include a couple of questions. I said, oh, you got it. Listen. I love you, Guy. Thank you, man. This is from Guy. Good job. Good job. You guys are the premier. But it takes that. It takes those advanced, higher consciousness beings to tackle something that the rest of society is tearing down. Medical doctors have torn me down for years, or tried to, but no luck. You know, when you hold truth and no one can tear you down, they can sit there and holler all the nasties they want at you, but you hold the mantle of truth. What are you going to do about it? I'm holding truth. You can't get past that. Now, this is another question. Let me see here. I am a 30-year-old male who has lost his path, or maybe I found it. You know, I like to think, my dear one, that you found it. I'm a young guy who's been disconnected from the American way of life for a while in pursuit of another wisdom, healing. And it can take you far, high, and low. But if you want to know the truth of true healing, you just open the doorway to it. And there's been, we've had greats in our field for so many eons of time, and so, but they never hold the whole truth. I had to bring out the kidneys, or this planet would not have made it. You've got to bring out the kidney filtration. If you don't bring that out and understand the lymphatic system uses the kidneys and skin as the elimination organs for the metabolitic waste that it is a collection agent for, and you don't understand that, then you don't understand anything about health. Because now you're treating supplements. Oh, this is a zinc deficiency you have. Take zinc. Remember I told you there are 4 phases in your body that must take place before a naturopath or now a medical doctor. In the old days they got us for that, but now they're doing it. Diagnosing supplements or using supplements to treat. So it's just one of those things. You have these 4 phases. You must digest your foods properly. So your pancreas, number 1, must be digesting properly. 2, gallbladder must be breaking down the lipids properly. And remember, there's a duct from the small bowel to the liver that transports the fatty acids. So, who knows about all of that? Now, what's the second phase? Malabsorption. You must absorb the food you just digested, because if you don't absorb the chemistry you just digested, why did you digest it for? Pass on through. If you see undigested foods in your stools, things like that, that's your pancreas, especially salad stuff and veggie and fruit stuff. Absorption, key. What creates malabsorption? Most people don't even know that. What creates malabsorption? Same thing creates malabsorption, creates what the medical doctors term as IBS, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis. What system is down interstitially in the walls of the small and large intestinal tracts? The lymphatic system. So, there we go. To get absorption, we've got to work on the lymphatic system. Well, what's the third phase? And this is the phase most practitioners do not understand. Again, the utilization phase. You must have hormones, as we said earlier, hormones and steroids in the presence to be utilized. And then you must eliminate all the byproducts of this. Remember those phases before you can sit there and say, oh, you need zinc, you need calcium, you need these things. Fix these things. Now, I've wrote you many times before, and I don't expect you to remember me, but I'm the type 1 diabetic who will stop at nothing to heal myself. Well, I tell you right now, I love you, because that's a mark of a powerful being that says, you know what? I'm not letting nothing stop me from getting well. That's a high consciousness being, my dear one. And being young, you have to realize you are a much more advanced being in here. Accept that reality. Spend time hooking to the consciousness, not to thought and desire. And work this. Because you already now with the type 1, if it is the beta cells, and they're genetically involved, you might have some digestive problems with it as well. Now remember, there's a neurological issue with the beta cells as well. So you always want to go after brain and nerve, and also the adrenal glands for 1, sugar metabolism, and 2, neurotransmitters. For the autonomic, which also turns on what? The beta cells. That was a study out of Canada. I thought that university needed a Nobel Peace Prize for that one, but who cares? No one appreciates these kind of discoveries in science except us, because they prove our point. Now we're going to cram these studies right on our website till the cows come home, because that way you all know that we are based on science and facts. Yeah, you're a good man. You want to inspire millions of diabetics around the world. I want to be a healer like you and Arnold Ehret. Well, just become one. Just start working with others, work with yourself, work with others. In due respect, remember that anyone who's been on insulin for any time, you have lost your beta cell production of insulin, or a big part of that. So don't beat yourselves up if you work hard to get your beta cell to produce insulin again. That's why it's so important, in my opinion, to be all on fruit as a diabetic type 1. Because, again, fructose does not require insulin. Fruit is the only food. Once you have a few days or weeks of breaking down, the glucose and all this kind of stuff, you can balance out. You're going to break down a little bit of fat and stuff like that a little bit, and you can move in back and forth a little bit to ketosis and stuff, but you use watermelon, your fruits, you keep detoxing the body, and pretty soon you'll stabilize. The blood sugars will halfway stabilize, and anything to get one away from insulin. Once you get down and stay stable below 200, I would dump insulin. I would, if it was me. I'm a long-time student of them, therefore the how is no longer a mystery. I just know must take action and be disciplined like never before. I like the way you think, because you do. You hit it right on the head.
Yes.
You hit it right on the head. My question is for you is, I've been thinking and thinking and then thinking. Right there's the problem, bro. I've been watching and I've been watching and I've been observing and I've been observing. Thinking can't get you into new levels of understanding. Thinking cannot get you into new levels of understanding. It can get you what's already understood till now, because you're dealing in the universal mind, you're dealing in the libraries, all of that. So, yeah. But now this world doesn't have the answers for type 1 or for any of them, right? So instead of thinking, and I know you mean this, but I'm driving a point here, instead of thinking, which keeps you trapped with already preconceived ideas and theories and things like that, to awake, which is observation, now you don't have theories blocking your view. You can now observe. And when you start putting the body together, you have to use chemistry and acid and base. You have to use the lymph system, the sewer system, and the kitchen, and understand that all you do is have about 100 trillion cells that have to be fed and cleaned. Just like a baby. You bring a baby home from the hospital, you've got two things you got to do, remember? You got to feed it. Oh, I got to clean it too? And what happens if you don't clean the baby in a timely manner? They get a little rash down there, right, on the bottom. What's that rash from? Acids. It's right in medical doctors' faces. It's right in everybody's faces. It's just we're thinking too much. And thought is pretty much controlled, as a word we use is conditioned. Thought on this planet right now is heavily conditioned. And so when you interface that with a little higher awareness, people fight because they're lost in their thinking process. They live in their minds. They don't know who they are. They don't know truth. They're lost in the propaganda of socialism, of the social consciousness. And unfortunately, the social consciousness has never been where truth is. Truth has always been in the individual. Because there's only the one. And that's where all truth is in the one. And you come from that. The 1111. You each are the one. Manifested as the one. Thinking out of it. However, it's been on my mind for a while. How can I become a healer? Should I become a naturopathic doctor? No. Wait till we get our scene nature school. Why? You're wasting your money and time. Unless you get a good European naturopathic school of naturopathy, not naturopathic medicine. you're just learning the light side of medical. No. You don't even need to do that. I highly recommend just get some herbal degrees, at least come to our school a couple of times, learn iridology, and learn how you deal with protocols. Because you're getting it. I know you already. I remember you. And so I know you're getting it. So now it's about protocols. How do you take your client or yourself through this journey, through this wilderness of acids, acid stagnation, mucus buildup in the body, all that implies? How do you maneuver yourself through this maze of stagnation and lack of kidney filtration? How do you open all your doors, hydrate, and let everything run away and clean itself away? And it's all in chemistry. Base chemistry is anionic. Acid chemistry is cationic. Cationic is even though it can rip, it eventually leads to dehydration and agglomulation. Everything becomes tumored and sticky gluey. When you look at anionic, everything breaks apart, becomes single again, and fluid. But the acid side is essential at all levels, and especially in the end of days. You don't want to take your body with you. So I'd get an herbal degree and just start learning how to detoxify people properly. And you've been working on yourself. You work on yourself. Those are the greatest healers out there, and you don't get a lot of them because a lot of them don't work on themselves. You got to work on if you don't work on yourself, how do you explain things to others? Mentally? Yeah, I learned this in class. This is what happens. No, you can learn that, but you got to experience some stuff. You got to ride the bull. What would you recommend if a relative told you he wanted to be a healer and make a living at it? What would you recommend if a relative told you? Well, just what I told you. I would tell them, learn everything that we teach. Not narcissistically. It's just that we're right on top of chemistry, physics. We're right on top of everything. How the body works realistically and all of that. And you've met Patty, so you know all her credentials. So, we've been, and of course the cures that you guys are getting, that we've gotten for my 45 years, is amazing. It's staggering, actually. And so it's to prove a point. It's essential. Because you can claim anything on this planet right now. Everybody claims all kinds of crap. Put your proof where your mouth is. That's what we do. We put the proof where our mouth is. But I'll say this. If you want to be a healer, get an herbal degree, play a little bit with the herbs, know that they're not for diseases, they're for body parts, and learn a little bit about herbology just so you have something on the wall, because a lot of people have to feel like you have something on the wall, sadly enough, and start working with whoever will work with you. If one thing I did for years was I found a meeting hall in an area, in a town or a province or wherever you are, and I set up a talk, and I postered and put ads in the paper. Some papers will run free ads, free meeting minders and stuff like that. And then I sit down and talk with the people. This is what's up. This is what causes it. You tired of being sick? Learn the truth about wellness. I mean, you try to find little Zen words even. Learn the truth about acidosis and your lymphatic system. Learn what causes all man's problems. Things that'll just catch someone's attention and go, I got to go hear this. And then just sit down and be truthful with them. Or stand up, whatever you want. Never put a podium in front of you and your people. Never put a podium between you and your people. You get on off of that stage or wherever and you start interacting with your people. Show them that you're one with the audience. And that you bear nothing but truth. If you don't know an answer, a question that's given you, don't make up something. Do never make up something. Because once you start down the path of untruthfulness, you just lost your ability to be truthful. And do what I do. I don't know. I never worked on that before. I don't know. We can't know everything. Even the masters. You got that by now? Some of you spiritual guys? Don't think the masters know everything either. No, a couple of them know a lot. But none of us know everything. It's impossible. When we're embodied, you're working with limitation. And there's a lot of blockages and stuff on everyone. There's masters that know nothing about health, but know a lot about God. So, we all have specialties in different areas. And we're used for that. That's all it is. Same with you guys. I know that the body can heal itself if given the right conditions, and overeating and toxicity, constipation and overeating is removed. Not all just overeating and that, toxicity, but let's get right down to it. What type of toxicity are we talking about in the body? Everybody talks about toxins and eliminating toxins out of the body. Okay, what toxins are you talking about? Cellular metabolitic waste. Waste from every cycle there is, from the cribs to the every cycle methylation. Every cycle in the body requires chemical interactions, which can leave chemical residues from this. All activities do that. Look at running. What do you create when you run? Lactic acid out of the muscles, right? How does your body get rid of the acids that you're creating head to toe every day from every cell, from not only your activity, but from the activity of the cell? How's your body get rid of that? And if you have someone tell you it dumps it in the blood, you gotta laugh, because that is impossible. Now, Pat and I have thought a great deal of why some of the lymphatic system piggybacks the arteries or veins, and that would be to, particularly the veins, would be to suck, maybe through osmosis, I don't think it'd be through diffusion, but maybe through osmosis, to pull these acids into the lymph system. Pure theory, I have no idea, but there's some reason, because in some places they're separate and other places they piggyback. Interesting stuff. I mean, we don't know nothing. We know enough truth to get us good, but we don't know the half of the divine and the design. That's another art that it's done, so it keeps itself in. I won't go there. Anyway, how can I become let's see, what would you recommend? Okay. You want to remove the acids. You want no obstructions to the flow of energy. And you have three main energy flows in the human body: blood, nerve, and lymph. Any obstruction to the blood, nerve, or lymphatic system creates dis-ease. Whatever the medical doctors label it, whatever the naturopaths label it, I don't care what you label it. When you have acid obstruction of the flow of energy, then you obviously not only compromise the flow of energy, but because the body is base dominant, you throw it into an acidotic environment, and now you initiate the world of inflammation. Now, the world of inflammation is a natural immune response by your body, and it has many factors to it, not interleukins and the like. It also has the calcium buffers. It has the cholesterol buffering system. These are also inflammatory responses. It should be adrenal corticosteroid response, but most people have low adrenal corticosteroids, and therefore cholesterol is used more abundantly. And that's why you see all these people with cholesterol problems. And it's just the fact that their adrenals are not up to the task of dealing with systemic acidosis that the level man's created for itself. That's the number one problem. That'll clear constipation, that'll clear tumors, that's everything, because that's the system. But indirectly, it affects the nervous system, it affects the blood system, it affects all systems. You back up the sewer system in your house, and I guarantee every room in your house is affected. If your toilet starts overflowing and you run out of the house, it'll fill your house. And every room in your house will be affected. Think about that in the human body. You back it up, you lose the ability to eliminate your waste, it backs up in your whole house. In all the organs, all the glands, that's all it is. And it creates acidosis, which is inflammation. And then your body uses lipids, of course, to fight. That's why you get fatty livers, fatty pancreas, fatty tumors, fatty lungs, all of this sort of thing. Because you're highly acidic. Same, only two sides of chemistry. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand true healing. You guys do. But the spiritual people would, Years ago, when I tried to bring this out, they thought it was too advanced. I was in Eckankar, pretty buzzed then. And I was a little out there on the magnetic and energetic worlds, granted. But I wrote a big article we had a neck newsletter, and a beautiful thing. Pictures from the God worlds of golden wisdom temples and beautiful cities and just beautiful stuff. But they wrote me back and said, a little bit too advanced for this level. I'm going, what? So that kind of upset me, but I'm able to do it now. By the way, you changed my entire life after I spent years stumbling through the raw foods dogmatisms trying to find something that worked, mainly low glycemic, because that's what everyone tells a diabetic. One day I fell across your website where it said, fruits don't need insulin to be assimilated, and that's when it happened. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi,
You have a lovely weekend yourself, my dear.
Love you.
Love you too, honey. Oh, you're taking that watermelon.
Isn't it great?
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Best watermelon. It's so good.
Mango.
Ooh, nice.
Good. You want it? I got a bunch. I got a sack of mangoes right there.
What?
Take a couple of them. Heck yeah. Wait till my Valencia Prides. Wait till they get there. I'll bring a bunch here. Oh, the divine ones.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That had happened. I just knew. And that's why my path also includes having my own fruit farm one day or grape vineyard. Woo-hoo! Now you're talking. This is the entrepreneurship that needs to happen out there. We've opened the door for you guys to have all levels of farms, herb farms, fruit farms, healers, anything you want. That cool? That's cool. And you have plenty of clients. This world is so sick. Everyone's sick. One day soon I will be the inspirational story, an example that as the world needs to heal the so-called incurable. Keep going, my dear one. This is Alex, and I do remember you, Alex. Thanks for your inspiration and support. Love you, my man. All right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, baby.
I love that. It's a little long here. Kidney failure, help. Oh, crap. Yeah, well, yeah. You know, in some ways, I don't like to give blanket statements, but in some ways, I would say at least, I probably wouldn't be far off if I said 99% of the people on this planet have some degree of kidney failure or kidney weakness. I wonder how many percentage of people don't filter. I don't know too many people that filter well. Who is this? This is so small. Forgive me for squinting, but this is real small to read. This is kidney failure. This is Townsend, Tyesha. Hello, I'm a 38-year-old female. See what I'm saying? You guys in the 20s and 30s, you got to go after your kidneys now. And all you youngsters that are listening, moms and dads, go after your kids' kidneys and adrenal glands. Don't wait. And no, the herbs will never hurt them. They're great herbs for the kidneys and adrenal glands. They're the only herbs that can mess with you is the real strong lymphatic herbs. So this is a 38-year-old female that has lived with chronic kidney disease. Oh my God. And has had my first few sessions of dialysis this past week. Oh no. Oh crap. My creatinine was at 14. All right, now, that's high. That creatinine in your blood should be, well, that most norms of labs, a low-end norm is 0.5, high-end norm is 0.99 in a civilized lab, and that's not even civilized. Labs now are pushing that high-end number to 1.3 and something, or 1.3. For us, and what I see in all the healthy people, creatinine levels need to be 0.5 at the high, 0.6 at the high end normal, and 0.3 at the low end normal. I mean, you've got pretty good, at least your kidneys aren't breaking down. They might not be filtering. So here's the thing, dear one. You want to go aggressively into the fruit, berry, melon side. Here's the thing, though. Are you filtering? Because if you're not filtering, when you do a lot of fruit, a lot of juices, you'll bloat up with extra water, and then you'll have to do an extra dialysis day. Dialysis are generally Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And we don't, no. If you're filtering, back up. If you're still peeing I would rethink dialysis. Now, this is just me. If I see that I'm still peeing with what I know about dialysis and what it can do to me, I'm going to say, you know what, I'll be back if I need you. I'm going to run to the kidney herbs. I'm going to run to the fruits and berries and melons. I'd get rid of the melons. I'd leave them off for now. Fruits and berries only. Maybe some cukes and guacs. And I would go after my adrenal glands and kidneys for sure and get that out of there. And you might even need to take a glandular for the kidneys just to inspire those cells that remember that they are kidney cells. But creatinine, she's at 14 and she should be at 0.5. You see it's pretty high? It is now down. It is now down to 4 after dialysis, but don't be fooled. And I'm hoping to get it down even more with another round of dialysis scheduled for tomorrow. I am very active with young children, ages 16 down to 8, and I would do just now, dear one. Please work on your children's kidneys, because you are the genetic mama. And get a picture of your eyes, their eyes. Let's have some fun with some eyes. Have your kids have some fun with looking at eyes and teach them how to read the eyes. Can you imagine your children at school knowing how to read people's eyes? Hoo-hoo! That ought to blow them away. Holy crap! Was your kid psychic or something? No, he just knows the science of how to read your eyes and look at your body inside of itself. That's too cool. Get off and stay off of dialysis. You have to stay off of dialysis if you can. Get yourself on fruit only, fruit and berries only. Don't juice them, eat them. And I would, again, go after the adrenal glands, go after the kidneys. I would probably do a lymphatic 1 capsule, but I would do 1 3 times a day. You got to have some lymphatic draw on those kidneys, but you don't want too much right now because you probably have some deterioration going on. So you want to just kind of be gentle, but you also want them to work, okay? But you want to get urination. That's first before filtration. You got to be able to self-urinate. I'm taking that you do, so you be very careful. This is when you want to get into 24-hour dry fast, 36-hour dry fast a little bit. Because if you can get your kidneys filtering fairly quickly, that's going to help them to clean themselves out quicker. All right, I am very active. Okay, we went over that. My GFR level was at 6 and Bun 49. Yeah, you've got a lot of proteins in your body, honey. A lot of proteins. Bun is your urea nitrogens. And that's the acidic side, of course. And that should be, give me 3 or 4. But 49? I generally use that to see if you're eating meat, because I know if you're up at 10 or 12 or maybe 15, you're a heavy meat eater. But you're at 49? Were you slamming nothing but protein, or that's what your body's trying to get rid of probably right now, is nothing but proteins? That's why you see your creatinine so high and your bun so high, is your body's dumping proteins. Thank you! I mean, you got to realize that protein is your problem, not your savior. You going on a protein diet right now, you might as well close the book and kiss your babies goodbye. You tear down your kidneys. You know, stay away from all proteins, nuts included. Oh yeah, fruits and berries only. What was that? Fruits and berries only. What did I say? Fruits and berries only. And you won't lack for energy or nutrition. You might lack for energy when the adrenals start going down to its genetic past, because I'm sure your adrenals are highly involved here as well. Since dialysis, I've eaten an all-vegetarian diet. Not before. That's what I'm saying. Your bun is showing extreme protein consumer. Can you lead me in the right direction as far as the herbs I need? Oh, you betcha, honey. You betcha. Go, you know, when you're at this level, I highly recommend you hook to Morse, Natanya, Attila. Pat is taking her parents need help, so she's leaving us temporary to help, but she'll still see people that are like in Australia and stuff to fit the time zone. We are writing a lymphatic book together, and we are also partnering up with the Essene School of Naturopathy, because we want our students to come out full bore awake, full bore knowing what causes everything, and ready to help anybody right on the spot. As opposed to any other naturopathic school to get out there and you don't even know what's up. That's no way. You spend all these, what is it, Bastyr in Southwest is like 40 grand a year, and it's a 4-year, 9-month school. And what do you know when you come out of it? You know what I mean? Jelly bean. But honey, you save your kidneys. Save. And if you're urinating, perfect. Be careful with the dialysis. This one here is, hello, Dr. Morse. I have been raw for about 5 to 6 months and have lost more than 30 pounds. I love being raw as it gives me so much, don't it? Well, I've been fruit fasting and I've got more energy, and you can tell I've got more energy. I'm trying to keep it down. So much energy, it makes me feel so good. Don't it? There's no words for it. There's no words for it. Now, you might go through detoxification. Yeah, I get that. But Wellville is here. And extreme vitality and vigor, what we used to call vigor, vim and vigor. Most of my calories, most of my calories I get are from smoothies that I make, but I find by the end of the night that I am very bloated, even though I have been all raw. Do you have any advice, the suggestions for me? Yeah, I'm not so much a smoothie person. Be careful with too many bananas, but I would say look at the pancreas. Make sure you're digesting your foods properly, because that would be the organ that would give that problem to you. Smoothies sometimes, if they're too concentrated, can be difficult to break down, especially with heavy banana usage and stuff like that. Take it easy. Sip and enjoy. Let it digest slowly. Matter of fact, let it digest in your mouth first a little bit. Taste the flavors. Don't let it just go down. Romance the flavors for a while. This will give you some amylase and stuff on your help break it down, starting in the mouth, and then you're well on your way to the time you get into the duodenal area, and then you'll be enjoying the flavors of it all the while. Oh. Okay, this is a spinal cord injury. Okay, this is my expertise and my favorite side right here. Right, where'd it go? All right. Who is this? This is Jill. Hey, sweetheart. I was wondering if you had any advice for me. My daughter, at the age of 17, on March 12th, 2016, was shot. God damn. And has suffered a spinal cord injury. Yuck. 17 years old. But no, it's all karma, and yet something she did somewhere, but fixable. All right? Her spinal cord is intact. Yeah. She is suffering from nerve damage. She has no movement or feeling from her chest down. T4 injury. Thank you that it's a T4. I do a lot of quads. This is a paraplegic. So the thing is, you repair the nervous system, okay? I use upper circulation and brain and nerve. Now, that's for the central nervous system, but I would also use it with her too. But you want to use the brain and nerve formula, and I would use about 1.5 drops to 2 dropperfuls 3 times a day on that at the same time. Why isn't the nerves rebuilding? So you want to look at that, because your nervous system is the highest energetic center of the human body. You're not going to rebuild it on vegetables. You're not going to rebuild it on cooked food, and you're certainly not going to rebuild it on proteins and dairy products. You only have one, in my expertise, you only have couple of categories of food that are electrical enough to help the regeneration of the nervous system, and that is the fruit and the berry category. Those are the 2 top categories of nutritional and energetics of our food sources on the planet. The human nervous system, being the highest energetic nervous system on the planet, requires those foods to keep it well. So when you're in the regenerative process, here's the other thing. Think of kidneys and adrenals for a couple of reasons. Trauma from the gunshot. What system has to deal with the trauma? The lymphatic system, right? So she's 17. That tells me she has kidney and adrenal problems already. I'm telling you, this is what's coming out. So you want to go after her lymphatic system to help clean that area of acids so the regeneration process can take place. So you want to also hit those adrenal glands to turn on the kidneys, but what else do we want in those adrenal glands? Neurotransmitters. So you want to go aggressively after her adrenal glands, and if her blood pressure is low, go with a glandular temporarily, say the 400s, and then pop to the adrenal herbal hitchhike licorice root. And keep going after the kidneys, make sure she starts to filter, and you'll start to remove the inflammation, and the nervous system will start to rebuild, and you'll have her. That's how I rebuild all spinal cord injuries. All MS, Lou Gehrig's, what they call any neurological deterioration, let's put it that way. Regeneration is the only key to this. And the herbs can help, and you have a beautiful herbs for the nervous system. But you got to remove the trauma from the local tissue, and that is highly acidic, and that comes from the lymphatic system. So you want to go that way. I'd also clean up the bowels because each vertebrae has a connection to the colon. So you really want to clean up the GI tract, the colon, everything. Matter of fact, each vertebrae has a connection to all the organs and glands. So you want to clean everything up. All right. Hello. I was wondering if my advice. Okay. She is suffering from. She has no. Okay. Jill, this is absolutely. I'll try to get a hold of you. Because I love to get young people out of chairs. I hate to see people suffer, even though I know karmatically you have to look at that. But things just don't happen for no reason. It might appear that way, but there's a deeper thing working in creation. But she can work this karma out, regenerate the tissue, and she's done, and go on with her experience. And that's true for any of you in chairs. Don't sit there and accept a friggin' chair as your life. Think about regeneration of tissue. Boy, these are all real small. Came out real small here. But this is Florence. Oh, hi, Florence. Dr. Morse, I hope you don't mind me resubmitting questions. I don't mind. If I don't answer your questions, keep resubmitting them. Because there's just so many things going on right now, and I'm just trying to get to all of you this way. But know, if you're suffering on any level, there's regeneration. You hook to the club here. Get to the club. It's free. I mean, you pay $10. We have to do it that way. Oh, I got a phone number here. For this one, do I have a phone number here? I don't have a phone number here. So this is Florence. You ready? Oh, this is back in January. I hope you don't mind me asking you. I sent a few emails but didn't hear a response, but I understand how. I know we're swamped. Thank you so much for all your videos. I have a query regarding scar tissue and stretch marks. I did a video on that, but it's been a while back on that. Yeah, anytime that you're acidic and you have trauma, you have surgery, you're going to scar and get adhesions possible. And and the problem is most surgeries are done when you're in a highly acidic environment, either from trauma or from acidosis from your diet, consuming acid-ash foods or acid-forming foods. So, let me see here. I have them on my hips, breasts, etc. If I started detoxing, could I expect them to get eaten up? And if so, how long? I can't tell you that. Everybody's uniquely different in their lymphatic systems, in their bodies. That is the individuality of the one. So everybody heals differently. It depends on the adrenals and things like that. But you want to go after your life health anyway, right? So you want to continue to get up the adrenals, the kidneys, get yourself filtering. This will help eat up adhesions big time. Scar tissue might take a little longer. But I would just start making everything healthy. Use the skin formula. But be thinking about pituitary, parathyroid, and thyroid in your case. Check your pituitary in your case, okay? Because you also need to think about the calcium utilization in your world, okay? So look at that, and then also get your lymphatic system moving. It's the only way to eat up scar tissue and stuff, and adhesions particularly. Adhesions. Did you say adhesions, or I just throw that in there? Oh, stretch marks and scar tissue. The scar tissue the same way. You don't want scar tissue. It's just look at adhesions and scar tissue as a body trying to protect itself from a weakness. And as tumors the same way. A tumor is a pocket of fluid, and it's only there because the route of elimination is blocked. Once the route of elimination is open, the body releases the tumor, and the tumor goes away, and you're done. That's simple. But scar tissue might take a little longer. Stretch marks and stuff like that, but go after that. Tone the skin. Use the skin formula. Make sure you're sweating. Get the thyroid. Make sure it's up there. You want the thyroid and parathyroid working anyway because that's part of calcium channel. So you want to sweat. You want to be able to dry skin brush. Work with the health of the body and the skin. That's what I would do. I also have another question. I water fasted some time ago and all was well. But once I had finished my fast, I noticed my breast had reduced in size. However, the skin had not reduced with them. Yeah, you know what? You're not toning very well, are you? Let me ask you, do you feel mushy? You have no muscle? Do you feel mushy? How's your butt? Is it tight and firm, or is it mushy? That means you got to start exercising and getting this lymph moving because you haven't toned yourself as a baby. That's why babies need to crawl and move around and work, is to start to tone their muscles. Very important to have to go through these phases as a child to start toning. And if you're born with connective tissue weakness or a parathyroid thyroid weakness or possibly a pituitary weakness with it, you're not going to tone well, and you'll tend to be more mushy, flabby. That's not good. So, and that's what you want to do, is start toning. Well, toning is an alkaline process. So you want to get on 100% raw, start getting all this elimination going, all of that, and your body will tone. You can use tonics down the way to tone. When you lose weight, your breasts are always going to get smaller. The skin, though, needs to tone with it. So, again, with the stretch marks and everything, I'm really, I keep polarizing to your thyroid and parathyroid gland, but also make sure you're interstitially opened. Look, get a picture of your eyes. Do you have a skin ring around your eye? Or how much lymphatic stagnation do you have around that skin ring, even? And that'll show you if you're having any problems with that. Take a look at your thyroid, parathyroid areas, see what you're doing there. Look at the pituitary areas and see that. Learning iridology is the cat's meow. Yep. However, okay, can that skin even return to being taut? Oh, absolutely. Oh, now, I had this one case, and it was a cancer case, but he was diagnosed with cancer, and of course when he came to us, I guess it kind of disappeared on him somewhere, or her. And so that brought in Fox and ABC News, and I think it was ABC News once came in filming, and there was she was 74 at the time. She was an organ player at her church, and she had major arthritis. Her fingers were like this, couldn't play anymore, right? And she was wrinkled to beat the band, okay? So I went after her. I went, of course, alkalized her, got her lymph system moving, worked out toning her with the, going into the parathyroids and stuff like that. This has been probably 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Well, when the cameras came in, and they were talking to our receptionist there, the lady says, "Well, look at me. I used to be like this, and now they're all straight." She said, "My skin was totally wrinkled. Now I have one big wrinkle." It was so funny, I have to tell you. She ended up with one big wrinkle from this there. She looked like a clown, and pretty soon that went away. 74 years young. Pretty good. So they filmed her story and put it in the paper with it. We are now I've got so many tapes of these things that we're going to try to get them up for you sometime when we get somebody around here to do something. I also have a lot of videos that we filmed with me interacting with the Amish communities and the Portuguese and that. So we're going to put that all up in a documentary or something so you can see how much fun we've been having. Let me see. I also have another question, if you don't mind. We have a friend who is male, 60 years old, drinks and smokes a lot. Eats a lot, but never puts on weight. He complains sometimes of waking up in the middle of the night with leg cramps. Can you tell what might be his risk if he continues? I mean, that's a little, it's typo error. All right. So when you eat a lot and you don't put on weight, there's basically two things I'm going to be looking at, right? What's the first one? Hyperthyroidism, correct? Absolutely. That's pretty easy to tell. You're generally going to get the Marty Feldman eyes, the egg eyes that you get when you go into the hyperbaric chamber. Be very careful with the hyperbaric chamber. It takes about 6 months to get your vision back. Your eyes go like eggs. I mean, it's not what people think it is. But it could be hyperthyroidism, which is easy to fix when you detoxify a person. But what is probably the most common source of excessive thinness? Malabsorption. And malabsorption is not a fun thing, is it? Because you're going to be thin trying to put on weight because you're malabsorbed. And to fix malabsorption, you have to work with what system? The lymphatic system. Again, that system. Once you open up interstitially, your absorption will take place, and now you'll start putting on muscle, depending on the food you eat, and everything will be hunky-dory. But you can pile it on, and all you're going to pile on is fat, unless you have hyperthyroidism, you know. However, the cramping of the legs does not suggest hyperthyroidism. As a hyperthyroid case, most people that are hyperthyroidism cannot break a bone. Their bones are strong because they're hypercalcium. I mean, but this sounds more like malabsorption to me, and that's getting the leg cramping. It's too acidic, and that's causing the leg cramping and everything else. You know, the more calcium loss you have, the more cramping you'll get. Of course, as the adrenals go down, you get a magnesium or manganese deficiency, not meaning deficiency, but a lack of utilization. Thank you. That's when you're going to see cramping or seizures as well. Now, this is real small letters here. The risk of living with malabsorption is very, very serious, and it's called starving to death. My sister just passed with that. She couldn't anything, would she? Her walls were critically thickened, meaning extreme lymphatic stagnation. You're done. Unless you open that up, you're done. You know, or you can have your colon removed, or part of your small bowel removed, but that doesn't correct absorption. See what I'm saying? So, unless you fix this, pretty much your life can be a living hell. I also have a final question. Sorry to ask so many. You only ask a couple. I also have a final, let me see, regarding herbal female contraception pill. You want to try it? I have read that since ancient times it has been, so have I. Yeah, I have read it too. But nobody's producing any type of herbs for it. There are a few herbs out there like pennyroyal and stuff that are abortive type herbs, and they work well for that. But you have to realize that that's what's going on, you know. They're estrogenic and things like that. You could probably add black cohosh, pennyroyal. I have a formula made up. It's in my formula book, but I can't remember all the herbs. I researched. I've researched into the Cherokees. Hard to get some of the Sioux Hopis, so I don't know. But this is what's been claimed. Well, this is my one of my biggest desires in formula making is to make a female formula that'll take these women away from the estrogenic formulas of pharmaceuticals and the supplementation of steroids and stuff. Gee, many Christmas, it's hurting a lot of women. And women, we all need to have fun together without the fear of people hurting themselves. And so I really think that this is right on with what I want to produce. That can stop a woman's menstruation and also act as a contraceptive. Can you tell me if this is true? I'm working on it. I'm digging into it too. You all dig into it too. Let's see if we can jointly put together a formula for the women of the world. I love that, don't you? If this is true, would you consider... Oh, no, it's on the top hot plate. I've got the formula. Or a formula. And I'm pretty sure you won't be able to conceive with it. But as I said in the few videos ago, I need takers. And I don't have the same consciousness about abortion that some people do. So that is a possibility if someone wants to try this and they do conceive. But sometimes you just have to experiment. Pharmaceutical companies experiment all the time. The trouble with their experimentations, especially in chemotherapy, most of their chemotherapy groups die. Now, I had one chemo experimental therapy group, 421 people in this group of experimental chemotherapy. One came to me. 1 out of 421 people in this experimental chemotherapy group is still alive after 20 years. Most of them died the first 3 years. But the one that didn't is the one that came to us. And I think he's still alive today. But we weren't after any cancer or anything. We were simply after cleaning the young man's lymphatic system. Sorry if that old cancer just happened to walk itself away, since it is an entity, I guess. It has a consciousness and legs on it and likes to travel. Forgive me. Can't resist that one. But yes, dear one, this is my next formula. I'm trying desperately to get it put out there for the ladies of the world, because I just think that's the perfect thing. The next thing we need as a species is safe contraception. Boy, I've got a window here like New York City. You know, I did a lot of TV in Portugal too, and the TV station had windows like this. You always had your people waving at you and stuff. I can't remember the gentleman that it was a medical show and in Portugal, but I was featured twice. The second time I brought Jensen with me. The first time it was viewed by 250 viewers all around the world. People didn't know they could cure their cancers. So the TV station had about 10,000 calls a day. They couldn't handle it. We overran the station. I filled up Dr. Baptista's day calendar every day for 2 years. People, everything is curable. Don't buy into the illusion called diseases. Learn the truth about the great lymphatic system and acidosis, and you'll have it. Sometimes for work it is extremely inconvenient to be menstruating, but the only real solution is pill, which I would hate to take, and I wouldn't take. Now, let me give you another way of looking at this, my dear one. And we talked about this with the ladies before. The cleaner you ladies get interstitially, head to toe, including the ovaries, including the uteri, including the head and pituitary and all this, your bleeding will go down to spotting and very light bleeding at most. The cleaner you are internally, the less of a menses you are required. Remember, menstruation is a cleansing process. Bloodletting is a cleansing process. Remember, blood is alkaline. And why would there be God create a cleansing process in the uterus every month? Because it's a little house. It's a little house for a little baby for about 9 months, give or take. So of course you want that clean. So that's just a God thing, you know. But you clean it systemically through the lymphatic system and things, and you won't have the bleeding episodes, you won't have hot flashes, you won't have any of the things that the ladies have, the more acidic and toxic that they are. That's what you want to shoot for, and then use an herbal contraceptive. I've got a lot of the herbs that I've researched through Indian books and things like that, but very limited. Very limited. And you talk to Native Americans, very limited. They don't understand either. But you're talking about generations and generations away from the elders. And those elders that knew anything about botanicals, you know. Anyway, thank you for your all. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you all. I'm just a little energetic up today. Let me get this one. This is a very long one, I think. No, not too bad. Hello, Dr. Morse. First of all, thank you so much for your work. Well, thank you. Oh, name is Isabel. Isabel, I'm from Spain, who has some of the best oranges on the planet, I hear. I would sure like to find out. I've never been to Spain, but I've heard some great things about Spain and their fruit. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm sure that a bunch of people have been through the Spaniard consciousness. Okay, she's from Spain. She's 37 years young, and she's 5'3". So immediately you all know where I'm going, right? We're all going to her pituitary. Now, this is a good point brought up by Marcy, because I also teach there's one other place that you get growth hormones, and it's rare to find it. I had Attila working his butt off to find it because I heard about it, but finding it wasn't even on the site of Society of Endocrinology site. And that is the thymus gland produces some growth hormones as well. That's why I recommend thymus thumping occasionally. So don't forget that. However, I'm going to kind of be looking at your pituitary. I think you probably already surmised that. But that's what I love about you guys, as you're learning what the rest of the world don't get. This is when you work on real people, and you're concerned about real people, and your goal is to get a real person healthy and well, not to take their money and run. Let me see you for 5 to 15 minutes. Take this med, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. I'm writing you absolutely desperate. Oh, wow. Let's see here then. I've been raw vegan for the past 4 years, and last year I was diagnosed with a monoarthritis. Monoarthritis? Mono. I didn't want to take medication, and then I found you. So I followed your detox program. I've been on just fruits for 6 months. Oh, wow. Mostly juices and a 35 days limited grape fast. I was taking all, 4 detox kits. All right? Because I was getting very skinny, I decided to incorporate a salad for lunch and a green juice a day. Well, that makes sense. It was then when my nightmare began. Oh, wow. My face, my eyes, my tongue started swelling, and even I felt it inside my head too. My arms, my hands are swollen too. I look very bad. My thoughts are slower. I feel sluggish and tired because of swelling. I am very depressed. Wow! I've been in this situation for 3 months already. Do we have a phone number? You gotta give me a phone number. All right. I've been in this situation for 3 months already, and the swelling is getting worse. I went to several doctors, and nobody gave a solution. Just put me in the hospital. Being treated by psychiatric and nutritionists who locked me in a room and fed me very unhealthy foods. Docs kept saying I will die if I just eat fruits, and the herbs might be toxic. Holy crap! You know what? Boy, that's the trouble with MD consciousness. It's so ignorant. Now here's the thing. You needed to get yourself back on the fruits and berries and hit the kidneys. Stay away from all lymphatic formulas. Hit the kidneys at least double. So if you get this, I'm going to try to call you. I'll try, see if I can get your number or anything out of this, but I'll get this video. I'm going to stop this video after this one and try to get it up ASAP. But that's my problem. When you guys have a desperate like this, you don't wait till I address it. You call the clinic now. And here's the thing. When you put yourself all on just fruit and fasting, you're starting to break and we talked about this, I think, on the last video. You start breaking everything up, and then you break back the blowback because you broke everything up, and that's what Marcy did, the same thing. And it's a blowback's all on you. There is some benefit to going slower initially, but it's the kidneys where you have the problem, and you got to go after your kidney and adrenal glands aggressively. I would have 2 kidney formulas, 2 dropperfuls every 3 hours. I would do probably 1 granular of kidney glandular, maybe 1 or 2 TID 3 times a day. I would go after those adrenal glands aggressively. I wouldn't probably touch a lymphatic formula at all, and that's where my focus would be, because that's where the problem is. And I would get into a room somewhere hot and sweat my butt off. I would sweat until I'm drenching in sweat. And if you can't sweat, that's part of the problem. Everything's locked in you. And that's a big deal. Get that thyroid. Even if you grab a thyroid glandular, get the thyroid up and get yourself into above 100-degree temperature. Get yourself sweating. I would go to a steam sauna and get myself moving there. Try to sweat out as much of this edema as possible. At the same time, you want to hit the kidney formulas I do a 1.5 to 2 dropperfuls about every 3 hours. And I would put myself back on the fruit side, but I would probably kick it down and not do too many watery fruits right now. Sometimes if you do too many juices and you're breaking everything up and you're hydrating, and then you step back vibrationally, and your skin isn't eliminating well and everything else, the blowback is tremendous. You hang in there, though, but get these things done now. Okay? You want to open, see, when you have someone blocked up like that, that means their elimination. But that's why she's doing it in the first place. Her elimination, she's lost her elimination. She's trying to get her elimination. And this is part of the problem here. I haven't seen a lot of cases like this, but we do see them, and it's trying to move the lymph too aggressively when the kidneys aren't filtering. So when you do this high-end raw fruit and fasting, and you add the lymphatic formulas, and your kidneys aren't filtering, that's where the blowback comes, guys. And it's just, that's why I try to meter this through the years. So we got to take care of this. Doctors say my lab work is very bad. Gamma GT very high, cholesterol high, vitamin D deficiency, even I sunbathe. Urea creatinine low. You want your urea creatinine low. Don't worry about that. Your cholesterol is high, huh? Well, I tell you what, that's probably from just detoxifying. You know, unless you have cholesterol problems, then that's just from detoxification. Detoxification will pull your cholesterol out of you, and your cholesterol control high in the blood. That's nothing. When I try to explain to everyone your theories about the lymph system and detoxification, they sent me to psychiatrists and didn't want to listen. Are you serious? Then you have the psychiatrist look our website up and get on our YouTube site, and then he can come and call me. You know, these dumbasses like this, they don't know their butt from a hole in the ground and can hurt you. You know, all they know to do is how to put meds. They don't even know what causes anxiety. They don't even know what causes depression. That's how ignorant these docs are. And then they want to blow back on us? Yeah, right. You know, doctors I have, the faces and the listing. The question my family keep asking me is if I'm not well detoxified well enough after 6 months, and how long should I keep eating fruits and herbs? Well, you're in a quandary right now. You have to go to the herbs and the fruit. You have to. But the herbs have to be specific. You got to go after the kidneys. Your problem's in the kidneys, dear one. It always has been. That's why you're on them in the first place. That's why any diagnosis of monoarthritis is a diagnosis of acidosis. That's the lymphatic system, and that's kidney stagnation. So you know you have the kidney stagnation. These guys don't have a clue about this. So you're talking to the wind. They don't have a clue. And you're not going to educate them because they're narcissistic. These people think they know everything, and they know nothing. And please, God, don't let me go out thinking I know everything and I don't know nothing. That is about as bad as it gets. So you just have to focus on the kidneys. Stay away from focusing on the lymphatic system herbal-wise and the adrenals. Any one of you get into that, or you see your tumors growing when you're doing this, you pull the lymphatic formulas and deal with the kidneys and the skin first. Hit the eliminative organs first. Please, Dr. Morse, I need to know why I'm swollen. Is there any solution? Absolutely. Leave me a telephone number. My kidneys were filtering a bit. How long would it take to filter more? I would be dry fasting if I was you. I would be. I would do a 24, 36-hour dry fast. Help get the kidneys open and pull this edema. I'd get your butt sweating. See where I'm going with all this, guys? Please, please, please. You got me, honey. When I started swelling, I was taking brain and nerve 2, adrenal gland, kidneys, lymphatic 5, lymph node 4. There's your problem. There's your problem. Stomach and bowel. Could it be the swelling due to lymphatic 5 and lymph node 4? Absolutely, honey. Too strong a lymph node formulas and kidneys not filtering well. Yeah. I only use number 5 if I'm facing tumors and stuff like that. So these are real strong herbs. So absolutely, you want to stay away from the lymphatic herbs. Focus on getting your kidneys to filter. Okay, dear one? I'm going to cut this off so we can get this up online as fast as we can. And I'm going to tell Chris, do not diddly-daddly, Chris. See, so serious things can happen if you're not smart about things. And I don't expect everyone to know what to do at the times. And this is why you've got to remember, kidney filtration is key. When you're not filtering, and they don't understand this, so when your kidneys are not filtering, you're not filtering the acids out of the body. You guys get that pretty well. And this is the lymph system. If you go aggressively after the lymph system, and you're still working on the kidneys, you didn't tell me are you on a kidney formula? You're on kidneys. Are you on 1 or 2 kidneys? Hope you're on 2 kidney formulas with 2 lymphatic formulas. But this is why, this is how I think how good we are. When someone orders the lymphatic formulas without the kidney formulas, we place a call to them and ask them, you have the kidney formulas with this? This is how we try to protect you guys. Because I'm going to tell you, this is about your kidneys, dear one, and they're not filtering as well as you think, and you need to open this up. This is high edema. And that's because you just stirred everything up. It should go down, but you're not filtering. How much are you peeing this edema out? See, that's another thing. You could have big restrictions in the kidneys. So here's the thing. Step back. Lay those off. Focus on the kidney formulas and the adrenal or endocrine gland formulas, and get yourself on the fruit level again. And you could do some salads. That's not going to be a big deal at all. But you really need to move lymph. And if you stay with the fruits, don't juice them. Don't juice them. Don't bring more water into you as much as you can help it. You can't help but bring some, but don't bring too much. I wouldn't be drinking, you won't be thirsty anyway, so I wouldn't be drinking a lot of water. I wouldn't be doing a lot of herbal teas. I'd be going directly after those kidneys and adrenal glands, and I'd sit back and I'd get myself a sweating like crazy. And that'll pull all that out of there and bring you back into a state of balance there. And then you can tell the medical people what you did to correct this problem. CC? All right. Love you guys. That you're in a world where a lot of sick people and they're in trouble already, and even detoxification, that's when I use the art. And what I mean by the art of detoxification, it is an art. And you have to learn how to work yourself when you get into that much trouble. But realize that stay away from, we've actually taken 2 lymphatic formulas out of the first month. We only leave 1 from the first kit and even into the next month because it's too aggressive on people with kidneys not filtering. You must, and it just brings it home that you must get your kidneys filtering. Another proof on top of itself, or a correlation of the need of kidneys to filter the sewer system. And when it doesn't, it gets you into deep trouble. When your skin isn't sweating, that's even double jeopardy, double whammy. And you got to open all these doors. And when you get bloated and edemic and pressured, you got to start opening these doors up. Focus on the kidneys. Forget the lymph system. Focus on the kidneys and the adrenals. Focus on sweating. Get all this out of you. All right? Well, we love you guys. have fun with this, because there's only a few people like this that do get themselves into trouble like this, and we help you right out of this stuff. Medical doctors can't help you out of this. They have no clue to how you got there and no clue to how to get you out of there, and that's obvious, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. Calling in a psychiatrist is common with those jerks, because, no offense, but that they do. And it's like, what? This is the narcissism of this level. And sometimes, forgive me, I sometimes takes me off of my spiritual plate. But I'm a little bit of a warrior kind of guy. Don't mean to be, but, enough's enough. So, get yourself well. I will try to contact you. If not, we'll try to get this up ASAP. And this is probably back in February, so hell, who knows by now? So this is a sad thing to me. But, love you guys. Take care of yourself. And be in the now. Be in the now. Or be here now. I used to say that all the time. Be here now. Be here now. Ooh, hello, my dear ones. I was just talking about that case about the lady that blew up. Well, it seems she has called in the office, and she has talked to multiple people here that tried to help her. Seems like that the person doesn't take anybody's advice, and didn't tell anybody that she was on the lymphatic 5 and 4 formulas. They didn't have any idea. She didn't say anything, and they've been trying to help her how you get out of this, and she's talked to several people here. So, you know what? You got to listen to the people here, because they work with things like this. And so when you call in here and you got a problem, you have to tell us everything that you're on, what you've been doing, so we can help you legitimately. And I would say that same thing to a medical doctor or anybody else. If you're going to a doctor, you tell them everything you can about the situation. I don't expect an MD to understand a lot of things like that, but certainly you got to tell us. So it's hard to dig in with someone when we're already trying to help them and they don't listen to what we have to say. But it's enough to say that this just demonstrates the power of lymph stagnation and the kidney stagnation, and what happens when you try to ignore kidneys and pull on the lymph system too aggressively. And I think I told you a couple cases like that. We had a case in Canada where the lady had tumors all in her, and she'd been through chemo and radiation and all that, and she knew she was going to die. So she said, I'll do anything, and I want you to go after me. I need to get aggressive. I said, well, and I tried to explain the same scenario with her. She says, I don't care. I said, okay. So it's you're pulling the shots. I'm only advising you. So she did. Then she called us 2 or 3 weeks later. My tumors are getting bigger. This is not working. Remember what I told you? So I took the lymphatics away but one, and double hit the kidneys, and suddenly everything started going back down again. So, but we have to be cautious about, there was that gentleman down in Costa Rica, 43-day water fast. You got to be awful careful about these nowadays. Maybe back when the natural hygienic community got moving, you could water fast a lot, but when you're not filtering in the kidneys and you're breaking up the lymph too aggressively, you could get a blowback. And being that it's acidic, you're going to see the edema come in to counter that. Remember, that's why we get edemic or swelling in the first place, is acidosis. So, I just wanted to bring you up to speed that sometimes I take these things a little too much, and then I check with the staff if this person's called in and, oh yeah, we've been talking with her, but she don't listen. That's what I got. So if that's not true, sweetheart, do what I'm telling you to do. This is how you get out of trouble, because if you don't do this, then don't call, because I don't know what to tell you. That's the only way you're going to get out of trouble. Now, and I don't like the trouble you're in, because it's edema. It's swelling in the body, and swelling isn't helpful for anything or anybody. Okay, but this is a nice, smooth, easy program. Unless you know what it does tell you is the power of the herb. Okay, the power of the herb, very powerful, and you have to be careful in the way you use them. Especially the lymphatic formulas, and it does show that the lymphatic formulas work, But you have to understand the system that you're dealing with. And the system, you've got the eliminative organs with it. You have the kidneys and the skin, and you've got to take advantage of those. All right. So I love you guys, and onward and upward.